Christine T. Bell. Welcome to Kiwanis. I was going to open with a long time ago in 1915 in a land far, far away, Detroit, and then that's all I got. I needed a longer walk over here. So welcome to the Indy Kiwanis Club. If you don't mind standing, I will welcome Greg Silver to the podium to do today's invocation, and if he doesn't mind, he can roll right into the Pledge of Allegiance.
I'm sure he knows that.
Before I begin, I have special information that last night the hummingbirds arrived in Indianapolis. So put your feeders out.
Right.
They came up from Kentucky. All right, that's all I know on that. I'm going to read, well, Eva Core was a friend of mine, and so was her husband. Eva, we had a fundraising with Purdue and Butler a couple nights ago. I know Trina was there, and I did this poem, which is now out on the Core blog, so I'm just going to read it, and here it is. It's called The Core Legacy. Can you hear me?
There you go.
From contentment and the hummingbirds arrived today. From contentment and happiness, to discrimination, to hate, to murder, to depression, to starvation, to enslavement, to displacement, but the cores overcame with courage, hope, determination, truth, family, action, survival, memory, wisdom, forgiveness, and love. This is the core legacy of Eva and Mickey Core to us now, not only to Purdue and Butler, but to everyone. To never forget the past, but live the present with determination to combat ignorance, discrimination, and hate each and every day of our lives. Amen. Please be seated. Please be seated. I'm sorry. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, you can sit.
You wanted me to say, just one, please sit down. One interesting sidelight on Eva Core. I was her escort with my wife to Birmingham, Alabama a few years ago, and she spoke to 1,500 members of an Episcopalian church, and then 1,500 mostly minority children from around Birmingham. And when she spoke, she was like a poet, and she spoke about hate, and she spoke about discrimination, and she spoke about the racial problems in Birmingham, and all of both nights, both the morning and the evening, there wasn't a sound. And she said, you know, if I can overcome what happened to me at Auschwitz, you can overcome as well. And I think she gave a lot of inspiration to people. And after that, Birmingham expanded or redid its Holocaust Museum and Center, and Jewish, non-Jewish, Christians, and Muslim are all working together to do a part of that, to be a part of that. So wherever she went, I'm sure she made a difference. We can all make a difference, even in every way. Anything we do every day. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Over the last couple of years, we've had filmmaker Ted Green join us and talk about his various projects, one of them being the documentary on Eva Core, Eva A-7063. You can watch that WFY documentary. It's online. Without further ado, I'd like to have Steve Farrow welcome his guest, and then we have any other guests? We know Lonnie. Steve? You can do it from there, yeah.
I'd like to introduce and welcome Michael Green. Michael will be our speaker on June 1st. He is the founder, owner of Flags for Good, which is based here in Indianapolis. He designs and produces flags for a variety of social justice issues, and a very successful company. So we're excited to hear from him.
Welcome. I'm very excited you responded to my email, and hope I didn't fangirl too much. I nerded out on your video, so I'm very excited for you to be here in a few weeks. A couple quick club announcements before we introduce today's featured guests. The services for Tom Dunham's beloved wife Patty will be on Monday, May 29th at Center Grove Christian Church in Greenwood, showing at 10, service at 11. Roger Cummings is hosting our Monday lunch bunch at Iozzo's Garden of Italy on next Monday, the 15th. This is a great way to visit with Kiwanians if you're not able to make our Thursday meetings, or even if you can make our Thursday meetings. Thanks again to Roger for stepping up to help Jason Burke select the scholarship recipients from Butler and the University of Indianapolis. Jason is looking for a few more people to engage in this effort this week. Jerry East, the namesake of the scholarships, was a generous donor to our foundation, and his gifts also allowed us to fund the football, basketball, and female athlete scholarships each year. Next week, Leonard Hoops from Visit Indy will be here to join us. We'll be back in the Columbia Club on Thursday, May 11th. It's not only National Tourism and Travel Week, but it's also Visit Indy's centennial year. On Thursday, May 18th, we're back on Zoom with Dana Pohl. She's the Director of Community at Uncovered, the nation's largest database of cold cases and a true crime podcast host. There is no meeting on May 25th, just prior to the Indianapolis 500 and Memorial Day, although we welcome you to take part in the 500 Festival services downtown. Let's see. As was mentioned before, Michael Green, founder of Flags for Good, will join us to speak on June 1st. June is Pride Month, and June 14th specifically is Flag Day. Thank you for timing it so tightly. Feel free to bring any worn or tattered U.S. flags that day or in advance of it. They'll be retired by the American Legion with local Boy Scout Troop 303 in Fishers. Coming up after that, Exodus Refugee will visit us at the Columbia Club on June 8th to recap the $11,000 grant for youth programming and mark World Refugee Day. And finally, we'll have a Zoom meeting on June 15th, and then online programming from the Kiwanis International Convention June 22nd. So without further ado, let me say, May the 4th be with you. May the 4th sounds very, very similar to May the Force, the opening segment from May the Force be with you. Perhaps the most famous Star Wars quote of all times. It stuck, and thus May the 4th is now known as Star Wars Day among fans. Today we're joined by Star Wars Indiana, local participants of the 501st Legion, Rebel Legion, and Mando Mercs. Somebody's going to tell me if I got that wrong. The international costuming organizations whose members create and wear screen-accurate Star Wars costumes and participate in charitable and community events for kids and kids at heart. Matt Hoffman is a member of the Moss Espa base of the Rebel Legion, as well as Bloodfin Garrison of the 501st. Is here to tell us more about this amazing group. He's joined by Scott Moss, member of Moss Espa base, Bloodfin Garrison, and Takura Clan. Certain I got that wrong. Jeff Siegel is a member of Moss Espa and Bloodfin, and Damian Siegel is a member of both of those as well. When you think of stormtroopers, Jedi, or even Darth Vader at Riley Children's Hospital or sporting events, it's this group that's showing up. They just attended Victory Field for Star Wars Night last Friday. Hope some of you were there. I welcome them. Please give them a warm Kiwanis welcome. I'm a little scared. I'm gonna go sit.
Hello there. No, we don't have our theme music. I'm sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Matt Hoffman, and I am. Hold on, I'll go to the next slide. No, I won't. Where's my thingy? There it is. Hi. There we go. My name is Matt Hoffman. I am the Legion event coordinator for the Rebel Legion. I have been a member of our organization since 2004. I'm old. And, I've also been executive officer, commanding officer, Legion commanding officer, merch officer, membership officer. I'm a jack of all trades in a group. I did a lot of things. Somebody went, hey, we need somebody to do, and then I said yes. And as I said, Scott Moss is also here in his not Vader costume. He is a TIE pilot. Don't ever call him Darth Vader. He is not. He's our garrison membership officer. So he is responsible for, if you bring in a costume and you want to join the group, he reviews it and says whether or not it's okay enough to be in the group. Damien Siegel is our base merchandise officer. She was also our base executive officer last year. And Jeff Siegel, he's just awesome. He's just an all-around nice guy.
Do you pay him to say that?
No.
I should. It helps.
He's the smart one because he does not sign up for things. That's the rest of us. He's the smart one. So our group, I'm going to step around because I teach at IUPUI, so I don't need a microphone. Our three groups at the international level are the 501st Legion, which are the bad guys, depending on your point of view, as Yoda would say. The Rebel Legion are the good guy group, and the Mandalorian Mercs are the gray group. That kind of, if you think of the new Disney show, The Mandalorian, if you think of Boba Fett, people with those costumes go into that group. The 501st is the oldest of the three groups. They formed in 1997. Rebel Legion was formed in 2000, and the Mercs were formed in 2007. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of us. All over the world. The membership numbers change all the time, obviously, but we are in almost every country, every state. We are everywhere. And here in Indiana, our three groups, our Bloodfin Garrison represents the 501st, Mos Espa Base represents Rebel Legion, and the Dakor Clan represents the Mandalorian Mercs. So we've got our international level overall names of the groups, and then we have our local areas. Bloodfin Garrison was here first, and they've got the Darth Maul thing going, and so Mos Espa, we went, well, this is Indiana, and we race, so we have the pod racing thing for Mos Espa Base, because that's where the pod race took place in episode 1. And the Dakor Clan, I don't know what they do. I'm not in the group. It looks scary. It's a skull. I don't know. They're not here, so I can say whatever I want. Oh no, Scott's in the group. I forgot, but he can't see me, so it's fine. But yeah, I know it's fine. I can run fast. At the local level, there are, how many members do we have in Bloodfin now? It's a couple hundred. 100, yeah, almost, okay, over 150 members. We've got over 100 members in Mos Espa, and then we've got a couple dozen members in the Mercs. Good.
Couple almost.
All right.
One
Sure.
shy.
So what do we do? Our group believes in charity, costuming, and community, not necessarily in that order. Costuming probably first of all, because you need a costume to be in our group. Our kind of standard is that it has to look like you walked right off the set. We're the preferred costuming clubs of Lucasfilm. We're not the official costuming clubs of Lucasfilm or Disney. We never say that. We are not allowed to. They will send me letters. So we're the preferred costuming clubs of Lucasfilm and Disney. So what that means is that we get invited to a lot of stuff. When it is not something at a Disney park, we are usually the people that they call first. Disney has their own costume characters. They have their, it's just like any Disney park. They have their own people. So when it's outside of that, if it's like a movie premiere or a TV premiere, if it's commercial stuff, we are usually the groups that get invited to that. We are a 100% volunteer organization. We are technically 501c7s. So we're a volunteer group. We do not get paid for this. Sometimes if Lucasfilm has us do stuff, we might get scale for that, but that's not normal. We were at the Indians game on Friday for Star Wars night there. We were all there for that, and so so they invited us. They go through Lucasfilm to get permission, and then we go and participate in that. But yeah, so costuming is the big part of that. You need to have at least one screen accurate costume to join the groups. In terms of charity work, we are, again, since we're a 501c7, we do a lot of charity work. Whether that's we're at, I have the slide at the end, but we're at several like charity walks this weekend. We do, anytime there's a walk, we're usually at it. We show up for the opening of a door. That's how we work. But yeah, so we do that kind of stuff. We are at Riley Hospital in a couple weeks. Our group, there's a slide for that too. We do a thing at the Kids Zone there. Before the plague happened, we were there about every other month or so, doing stuff for the kids there and participating with that. And then we're at the libraries this weekend all over the place. So yeah, that's the charity part of it. And then community is just us, being in a group. It's just us being friends and hanging out and participating in all of these things. And so that's the big part of getting something out of this, is that we are very lucky here in Indiana in that all of our groups work together. That does not normally happen in several places around the country and around the world. But we decided years ago that we are better together. And so in 2009, that's when we formed Star Wars Indiana, which is the amalgamation of our groups. So under the one banner of Star Wars Indiana, but still are three separate organizations. And then I've got a cool slideshow of stuff that we've been to. A couple of years ago, we participated in May the 4th festivities down at the track. I talked to my coordinator there yesterday, and we need to go back to the track, and so we're going to try to do that for next year. But yeah, we had a huge, gigantic group of us. Had a big photo shoot at the bricks and did all that. It was really cool. So that was really fun. So shot that one. Here's just us looking cool. Especially me in the front. But yeah, so the other big part of this is thanks T, is the convention element of it. I mean, we love going to cons. We're at Indiana Comic Con this weekend. We'll be at Indy PopCon at the end of August. And so con life is where all of this started. Albin Johnson, the creator of the 501st, created the 501st while at Dragon Con, which is in Atlanta. Over Labor Day, I will be there. It's a good time. But yeah, so whenever there's a large group of us hanging out, we got to take some cool group photos. So that's what we got today. Oops, that's the wrong way. There's some clones. Clones are cool because they get to be in both groups. They're good guys and bad guys, depending on what movie you're watching. So they get to be in both groups. So that's pretty cool for them. This was 2 weeks ago. Was the plane pool? Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
Saturday.
The Republic plane pool down at the airport. They have a huge charity event there where they get groups together to pull an airplane, which is pretty neat. So our group went down there and pulled an airplane, which is a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's.
You didn't use any force?
No, we didn't use the force. It was a Saturday, so it was our day off. From the force. So yeah, so we had that group there 2 weeks ago. And there's another cool shot from the Indy 500 just because it's neat. It was a lot of fun. And then where is this? Oh, this was at the Indy Fuel. We did Star Wars Night with the Indy Fuel back in January. Yeah, January. We do stuff with the Fuel. We do stuff with the Pacers. We do stuff with the Fever. We do stuff with the Indians. We done stuff up at Purdue. We used to do stuff with Naptown Roller Derby when they were still a thing.
Indy 11.
The Indy 11 is coming up the first weekend of August. So yeah, I mean, we do a lot of sporting events too. People think that as a Purdue grad, we haven't done IU stuff because of that, but they actually haven't asked us. So at least that's what I keep telling them. But no, they actually haven't asked us.
How about Butler?
Butler, no, we haven't done anything at Butler.
We'll fix that.
Okay, good.
We
Yeah.
can do that.
I love that because I live on 52nd and Central. I just walk right over. That'd be
That'd
great.
be great.
Yeah, I'd love to do stuff at Butler. Yeah.
Yeah.
We do.
Graham,
Yeah, we do anytime there's like a charity walk at Butler, we're usually over there. But yeah, we'd love to do some sporting stuff
Okay,
at
so
Butler.
the Ewok, is that a kid?
That is a Jawa.
Jawa.
Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's Danella. She's just down on her knees.
Okay.
Yeah,
She's
the
pretty
only
tall,
the
actually.
only one that we have a height Vader doesn't have a height requirement, does he? The only one we have a height requirement for is Chewbacca. That has to be over 7 feet tall. And but
7 feet,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there's Chewie. So Chris is Chewbacca. I'm sorry to ruin the fourth wall. Chris is Chewbacca. He's got like 1 foot stilts that he wears.
He's pretty tall anyway.
Yeah, he's tall
He-
regardless,
he's-
but he
he's
does
tall.
he wears 1 foot stilts with that. So. And also, this is a family affair. That's my son on the far right, so he gets to go stuffing. I drag him along. Library troops, like I said, we do. This one was at the Fisher's Library last year. They didn't invite us this year. They're having issues.
Oh.
And so, but we're at Johnson County Library this weekend today, today. We're at Johnson County Library today. Yeah, so we love doing library troops. They're great because I mean, librarians love us, and it's also anytime we do an event and you see little kids, they're just like and freak out. So that's always fun. And then here's a picture of us at the Kid Zone at Riley. Like I said, we're going to try to get back to a regular cadence with Riley because obvious reasons. So yeah, it'll be good to be back with them in 2 weeks from today, actually. So no, 2 weeks from tomorrow. We'll be there. And then this was at Indy PopCon a couple years ago, where we collected $1,070 for the Epilepsy Foundation, which was the charity at Indy PopCon that year. So yeah, we do really well with that. People come by. We have different different games that people can play for a donation, and then they win stuff. And so we'll usually make a cool grant for that. So that's really good. And so yeah, and also you see in the background we at events like that at PopCon and at Indiana Comic-Con this weekend, we'll usually have big props or different things, set pieces for photos and things like that. We've got several photo backdrops. We've got this Imperial Detention Center thing, like where Luke and Han and Leia were in the first movie. We have that built out so you can get pictures in there. We have a trash compactor thing also from the first movie, so you can hold up a big stick and try to stop the trash compactor from closing in on you. It's pretty cool. So yeah, and then we had to show the Mercs trying to steal the Big Ten championship trophy from Mackey Arena. We were there during episode 9, so that would have been 2019, I believe. Was our last Star Wars night there with the basketball team, and so they said we can't do them again until there's a movie premiere. I say after what they did in the tournament, they probably want us back this year. I'm alumni. I can say it. It's fine. And then back in 2017, we did the mayor declared Star Wars Day in 2017. So we had a big event down just right here at Market Square, where the mayor came out and declared Star Wars Day, and we all got a scroll with the thing on it and the declaration and all that. So that was really cool.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
He was awesome.
So things that we're doing this weekend, like I said, we're at Indiana Comic-Con Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We have a whole room dedicated to us right across from the main panel room. So you can come over and say hi. That's the other sports team we're at this weekend. The Kokomo Bobcats is tonight, way up in Kokomo. We've done stuff with the Aviators is the Lafayette team. We've done stuff with them before in the past as well. The Johnson County Public Library is this afternoon down in Whiteland. And the Columbus Chamber of Commerce asked us to show up to their ribbon cutting today because May the 4th. So we're at that too. So yeah, it's a good thing that there are a lot of us because we actually we turned down 2 events today because we were spread pretty thin, obviously, because it's a Thursday and it's hard to find. We have jobs. This is not. We don't sit by the bat phone and wait to leave. Actually, I would try to. I know, maybe sometimes, but yeah. So that's it. So that's us. That's what we do. If you want to invite us to stuff, you can find us at StarWarsIndiana.com. It's just that easy to remember. So, yeah. Any questions? We do not do birthday parties. For the love of God, we do not do
Weddings? You do weddings?
No.
For the right donation.
For the right donation, we will. Lucasfilm doesn't like it when we do those kinds of things. Birthday parties is just a flat no. We're not clowns. We're not doing it. Weddings, usually, sometimes we will if it's like if we know them. And Scott likes to do weddings. You did that cool wedding, didn't you? The IndyCar people. Yeah. I don't remember. Do you remember?
Robert Wiggins.
Robert Wiggins. He did Robert Wiggins' wedding. The Indy 500 driver. So that was pretty cool. You had a good time. All right.
Don't tell me everybody I met.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask who you met. That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Where do you get your uniforms if you have to have a legitimate uniform?
So there's a lot of different ways. Most of it's gotten a little better than I know a guy who knows a guy, which is when I started, it had to be I know a guy who knows a guy. A lot of times there are groups of people that have approvable costumes that you can go to, the people that have made them in the past, so that we know that they're valid and okay to go. All organizations have a list of requirements for each costume type. So like for Jeff's X-Wing costume, that it has to have the orange jumpsuit, it has to have X number of pockets, it has to have the flak vest, it has to have the chest box, it has to have the ejector straps, it has to have the boots, it has to have the flares, and then the helmet is optional, and then so there's like a whole list of things that are required. Depending on the level of accuracy, there might be like Vader's stuff is ridiculous in terms of what you have to have and the measurements and how the buttons light up and things like that. So it just depends on the costume, but it really is for us too. If somebody says, "Hey, I want to be this," they can come to our forums and say, "Hey, I want to be this," and then we can point them in the right direction of who makes that, who's reputable, who do we trust, who's not going to take your money and run, those kinds of things. It's not as easy as getting on eBay and typing Stormtrooper costume and seeing what you get, because that would be scary. Yeah.
If someone's wanting to get into it, like, what's the best entry level, cheapest character to start with?
That's a great question. Under this stuff is this crewman costume, the black crewman costume. That is what, like 6 or 7 costumes. So you can start with the crewman and get the bottom black jumpsuit with the Imperial cogs on it, and get a hat like Dee's hat in black, and you can get in with that. And then you can build up on it. So you can get the TIE pilot pieces, and there's the Imperial gunner helmet, which is a little different. But yeah, it's like 6 or 8 costumes. So it's a great starter costume, and it's not that expensive either. R2-D2. We have an R2-D2. Mark Wolf drives R2-D2, and he's pretty cool. But yeah, that's a great question. And it really just depends on where you kind of go with, and you can do that whole thing just with the jumpsuit and the boots and stuff, like under like $300 to get you started, as opposed to, you know, Chewbacca or Vader, which is thousands. Boba Fett is thousands. Yeah. So
So to piggyback on that, do most of you, like, are you a single character, or do you rotate between them, like, you would have all sorts of options? And then how do you decide who to be at any given time?
We have our favorites.
Yeah,
I mean personal, like,
Yeah.
I have a pilot just like his. I just decided to go the bad guy route today. But and a lot of us do have more than one costume.
Yeah, it's, for some of us, it's a sickness. They'll have like 10 costumes.
If not
Yeah.
more.
I
if not
admire
more.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
On both sides. So I personally am a member of the 501st and Rebel Legion. Scott here is a member of all three, the Mercs. You have a Jedi, which is Rebel Legion, and
You got that and Vader.
that, Darth Vader. You
Yeah.
have a few. He has a few.
Yeah.
And as far as like deciding what you want to
Do you
be,
really?
like I've got this,
11.
and then I've got like a stormtrooper outfit with all the armor. And it's like, do I want to be comfortable today,
Yeah.
or do I want to put all that stuff on today?
And for me, I usually wear cloth costumes, and so I'll usually bring two of them. I'll usually bring a good guy and a bad guy, and then I'll just see how many numbers we have. And it's like, oh, we're a little light on the Rebels, I'll wear my X-Wing. If we're light on Imperials, I'll put on my officer.
Do you do any skits or, no, so
Yeah.
it's strictly socializing and emphasizing the movie, et cetera?
Right, exactly, yeah, which is why we do not do birthday parties.
Okay.
It's- Yeah, that's what, yeah. And also, we all have like PTSD from kids with
Pool noodles.
pool noodle lightsabers.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting, you know, looking at your chess pieces, both the TIE fighter and the X-Wing fighter, you know, it's late 70s, like cassette tape player. Like, have you ever had somebody in your group, they want to step it up a little bit, you know, go a little more digital or something? You're like, no, brother, that's no.
Typically, no, you're not allowed to do that. I mean, you can, like with the TIE Pilot, for example, they made some updates in Rogue One where it has lights on it now, same with the X-Wing, so you can do that and have lights on it because it's in a movie, but if you're trying to do extra stuff that's not screen accurate, it doesn't fly.
What's your, just out of curiosity, you know, the Star Wars world has expanded dramatically since Disney bought it. Do you have like a, man, that's my next, I'm going Mandalorian next or something? There was I was at a car dealership yesterday and they were doing May the 4th stuff, and some guy came in with a box. It was like, you know, he's carrying the Super Bowl trophy. It was all, everything was, he pulled out
Yeah.
Mandalorian helmets, but they were like, apparently this guy makes them himself, and they're like all leather, and
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was like you were touching the crown jewels.
Yeah, that's
White
weird.
glove only.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have anything like for me. The funny thing right now is that because of the stuff at Disney World, like I go down there occasionally, and so I try to think of. I know, right? My thing now has been trying to like find costumes that work down there. So like you can dress up kind of swarzy, but you can't like be a character. So
They
like
don't want you full on.
right. So I can't go down there in my Luke Skywalker and be like, hey, I'm Luke Skywalker. They won't let you do that. But if you do something that's kind of like inspired by Star Wars, then you can wear that down there. So that's been kind of my focus lately, is trying to find things that work in that kind of realm. I'm kind of happy with my repertoire of Star Wars costumes. I've been buying a lot of Star Trek costumes lately, which I can't talk about today. But yeah, that's where I've been kind of lately.
For me, with the Mandalorian now, I am really focusing on a Bo-Katan. I would love to do her armor, and I have a few minor pieces collected so far.
Is that the
But
one with the owl?
Yeah.
yes, it is. It is with the red hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just would love. I would love that, but save up, buy a piece of the suit, save up some more, buy another piece of the suit. So Yep, baby steps,
Yeah.
at least for me, but yeah. So, yeah.
So you talked about getting release from Lucasfilms, Disney. Is that on everything you do, every event?
No. It would be so as event coordinator for Rebel Legion. I get all of the invites to events from around the world, and so I will read through those and say, okay, this is somebody's charity walk. That's fine. Send it out. This is a library event. That's fine. Send it out. This is, our minor league baseball team wants to have Star Wars night. Okay, you have to go through Lucasfilm. Here's the information that you need to get for them. Usually if it's anything that involves a licensing kind of thing, then they need to approve it. So, and also if it's anything that is media involved, not like local TV, but like if we're, like the Rose Bowl parade, for example, we did the Rose Bowl parade a few times. That would need to get, and when we did the Indy 500 parade here, that had to be approved as well. So it just depends on the nature of the event. So if there's anything involving licensing, then they have to step in.
Are they willing to work with you very much, or what's the relationship?
So the relationship is fantastic. I mean we've I talk to Lucasfilm at least once a week about different stuff that we're doing. Not here, but Legion-wide. The only times that we kind of get told no are usually when retail establishments are involved. So like Costco wanted us to do something, and Lucasfilm said no. It just depends on how the license gets split up. But yeah, it's usually stuff like that when people say when they say no. I'm trying to think of another example lately of when they said no to something. Anything that if it involves like a bar or a restaurant or something like that, we can't really do. Yeah, anything that's kind of that's my favorite story is when the Super Bowl was here years and years ago. A Grey Goose came to us and said, "Hey, we want to have stormtroopers walk around holding trays of Grey Goose." And I'm like, no, we're not gonna do that. Well, can you check? I'm like, yeah, sure. And so I emailed Lucasfilm, and they went, no, you're not getting to it. I know, that's what I told them. So yeah, it's usually it's that kind of thing. It's what they say.
So you folks donate your time. If Lucas gets involved, do they get money from people who are asking you to perform? Like, did the Indians pay?
No. What the Indians do for their rights to have Star Wars Night is they have to do something charitable.
Oh. Cool.
So I don't remember what they had to do this year, but last year they gave tickets to the Boys and Girls Club of Indianapolis, so then they could come to the game. So anything that happens, they don't pay for it. It's a charitable thing. So they have to provide some sort of thing.
Interesting.
Now, I noticed you did not mention the Colts.
Yeah, they haven't asked us.
So you wait for somebody to ask you?
Yeah, we're just
Okay.
The Colts. Yeah, it's just one. Yeah, I don't know why we don't usually do a lot of NFL stuff. I'm trying to think at the national level. We don't. Very few NFL games. We do MLB stuff all the time. Like we're at all sorts of baseball games.
And NBA.
Yeah, NBA. So yeah, we do the Pacers every year now. The Fever. So.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, Cincinnati
The
Reds.
Cincinnati Reds.
Although that's in Ohio, our Ohio people over there extended an invite to those in Indiana. So actually, a few of us are going to be going over there. And then in 2 weeks, the Detroit Lions is. When I say 2
Tigers.
weeks,
Tigers.
That's NFL. Look, I'm trying to act all knowledgeable, and yeah. But yeah, next Saturday then is the Tigers up in Michigan that actually we're going to be going to do.
Yeah,
as
we've
well.
done the Cubs. We've done Star Wars Night with Cubs before too.
One more question
Yeah.
for me. What's the national membership level? Do you know?
No, not off the top of my head. It's in the U.S. No, I don't have a.
But for Indiana,
For Indiana, we have in Rebel Legion we have over 150. In the 501st, it's in a couple hundred, and then the Mercs, it's like 24.
And those are statewide?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
First, your tattoos are beautiful.
Thank you.
Uh,
Gotta have the twins.
So, personal question for each of you, as much as you're willing. What was it about Star Wars that did this? Like, of all the things you could choose to invest your time in, what was your catch?
Princess Leia.
Oh my gosh.
Do you wanna go first?
I mean, ever since I've been young, I've been a Star Wars fan, and like he said many times, not only to give back for charities, but me thinking of me now, and if they would have had this back when I was little, I would have just went nuts.
Yeah, our
mean,
7-year-old selves are.
and just to see the kids, you know, the smiles, and even adults.
Yeah.
I mean,
Adults
even
are-
adults go nuts too.
Oh, yeah. I do want a picture with you guys.
Can we get a big picture? Can we get a big picture?
Yeah.
I ever since I was little, yeah, I've just been a sci-fi fan, not to mention the other star,
It's okay. We're
it's
into
a word,
it.
right,
Yeah.
right. But fans of both. But I just love dressing up, always have, and I love Star Wars. This is my husband right here. I actually got him
Yeah, she
involved.
got me involved.
So our first costumes we built those together, and we're like, you're doing this with me, and I just love it, and the people. I mean, not. I'm gonna just. We built a family, just either in costume or out of costume. It's just so not just, yes, I get to dress up. I get to dress up with some really good friends now.
And Scott.
And Scott. Sorry. But yeah, get to do it. We did a Make-A-Wish event downtown Indianapolis last Saturday, and it went by so quick. 10 minutes with the young little boy. Just, it was chills. It was just,
Yeah.
it made my night, even though 3.5 hours of waiting it just that moment to see that Make-A-Wish come true, and we were able to present that to him. Just all kinds,
There's been a few times where our group has to be at somebody's house at 6 in the morning, because it's a Make-A-Wish kid, and they're going to Disney World. So the Star Wars people are there to, send them on their way to
I imagine you have a huge turnout for this.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants to be part.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this was your opportunity not only for the movie, but to give back.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely,
doing it.
absolutely. Yeah, because it's one thing. We can go to a convention whenever we want. We can dress up whenever we want.
But you're always helping other
Right.
people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
making people smile, if anything, if that's giving them a high five as a breast cancer walk begins,
okay.
or a Down syndrome walk begins. We did that in Terre Haute last
Yes.
week. High fiving, it's fun.
Did you want to talk?
Yeah.
No, you want to talk. He's a man of few words.
That's the joy of,
That's why he wears that, because he knows I'll just talk. But no, for me, when Star Wars Celebration was here in 2002, and I saw a bunch of stormtroopers walk by.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what is that? Can I do that? And then I found it costs a lot of money, and so I don't want to do that. But I was like, well, I can be an X-Wing pilot. I can do that. And so I did. And then, but yeah, I was 5 years old when I saw the movie the first time, and it's just been there ever since. So it's one of those, it's just
It's good.
perpetuated our lives. And so it's
I got a question.
Oh, yeah.
What do each of you do for daytime living?
I am I'm in web design, and then I also teach. I work at Allegiant up on the north side of town, and not Allegiant. That's the airplane people. We make door locks, and then I teach web design at IUP Live.
Spiderweb?
What? Yeah,
Spiderweb?
yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Nobody wants to see me in it. It's fine.
What's the quiet one do?
Drives.
Race car driver?
He flies.
He flies a top pilot.
It's a pilot.
Do you know?
Uber driver?
He's a maintenance. He's a maintenance dude at where Plainfield. I know you work in Plainfield. What's it called? What? Something modeling?
Oh, Niagara Bottle,
Niagara,
yes.
yeah.
Oh.
Sorry, Scott. I should know that.
He officiates weddings for race car drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just mentioned family and I don't even know what. Yeah, I'm like, what?
He gone.
Half the time I just give you a hard time too.
Yeah.
So. I am a graphic artist full time, actually, and I also have license to teach Zumba. And actually, I designed. So one of my things for the group that I do like to contribute, I designed that our next mission banner, and so someone just plugs in the information. But so that's an example of what I do. So
Talents.
yeah.
I have been at UPS for 27 years.
And what?
Been at UPS for 27 years.
Thank you.
And it seems like writing utensils are a big thing in the world of Star Wars. Are those pens on all of your uniforms?
Your
Code
The
cylinders.
shoulders and on the-
These yeah. All kinds of
chalk
secret.
holders, yeah.
Yeah. They are actually,
They're chalk
they're that's what they're converted chalk holders
Oh.
from back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's what
yes.
I mean, this is what's in the movie. Yeah. So there was a guy overseas. Someone earlier had asked about our costumes. We've kind of pieced them together. So yeah, like part of my bits, this came from Australia, ring badger, is he in Australia? Some of his stuff came from Texas.
It's ordered stuff
But-
for my wife's Imperial Officer stuff from Italy.
Which is crazy. But yeah, and that's what George Lucas, or the prop people, that's,
Yeah, so much of the stuff from the old films
Especially, yeah.
are found items from
You hand out souvenirs or anything like that?
We have a
Well,
lot of us have trading cards that we'll give out.
Yeah.
Which is also a great thing. The kids love those too.
Yeah, sure.
Trading cards mostly.
And of course, she designed those.
Yeah, we do design those. It's pretty good.
the unofficial, official base graphic artist.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Everybody needs one.
That's right.
Yeah. Any last questions?
How fun.
Thank you all for
Could we get a
Thank you.
picture with us?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Of course.
We will.
Before you guys leave, one, I want to say thank you. Like, this was so much fun. I learned a ton. We will be making a donation in your honor to New Shoe Day. They're on a mission to uplift the world's well-being. They work with youth primarily in Indianapolis around mental health. Next week, they're actually donating 150 pairs of shoes to elementary school kids, so I'm going to go be part of their chaos, is how they've described it. But very, very privileged to be able to do that in your name.
Thank
No, I
you.
love that. Is that right here in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Where we going to?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I may have to connect you with them. I will definitely connect you with Butler Athletics.
Yeah.
So, well, I know your schedule is very, very busy, but we'll
Hey,
keep it that
the
way.
further out we know it, the better we can go to it.
Perfect, done. So we'll be back here next week with Leonard Hoops from Visit Indy. I hope to see all of you. Bring friends. With that, we're adjourned, and please come for photos.